New Jersey has the makeup of a state that could be like sneakily red. It's not, but it's too diverse, I think, to be red. But New Jersey is like a weird ass state. So cute, my little Hasanito. Last YouGov/Times poll in battleground states: Arizona, Trump up by 1, Georgia, Trump up by 2, North Carolina, Trump up by 1, Nevada showing Harris +1, Pennsylvania, Harris +2, Michigan, Harris +2, Wisconsin, Harris +3. This is a lock for Harris to win. For the record, like, she just needs this. I mean, she needs this. And if this comes as well alongside it. And that is their pathway to victory. Just want to mention, Trump just called his employees stupid in front of a rally. Luckily, he didn't say garbage. I mean, Trump has called his own supporters garbage. Trump has called the cities that he's attended garbage. Trump has called Democrats garbage. Trump has said, Trump can say whatever he wants, chat. Think about it this way. The dynamic is the exact same. I'm gonna like reduce it to online drama, okay? In the field of online commentary, if you're presenting yourself as a right-winger or even a bad guy, okay, nobody's expectations of you are high. The standard is already set for you. You can get away with doing whatever the fuck you want. You can do bad guy shit all day, every day. And not only can you do bad guy shit all day, every day, you can then turn around and point to someone like myself and say, that is actually a real bad guy because he's hypocritical. Okay? Because the standards, if you are at least on the progressive side, ostensibly, okay, the standards are unimaginably high. And it's oftentimes not even a standard set by yourself. People can just like make up whatever standard you should have and then call you hypocritical for not abiding by the fake standard that they set for you. Okay? That's it. People who are apolitical or right-wing can get away with just being like, I'm a sociopath. I'm a bad person. I don't give a fuck about anything. I'm selfish. I'm only interested in myself. And people will go, hell yeah, brother. He's just like me. He's being honest. He's being real. He's being a real one right now. Okay? And then they can also turn around and go, that guy is faking being a good guy. He's actually a piece of shit. And people go, yeah, you're right. He tells it like it is. That guy does suck. That's the reality in the political stage as well. Donald Trump is a bad guy, and he has successfully set his own standards for himself. He can say whatever the fuck he wants, and the media just basically goes along with that. What are you going to do? That's just Trump. You know? That's just Trump. And I think, yes, I know Van had a really good take on this. It is also obviously white supremacy as well. Like white mediocrity plays a role in this as well, certainly. But I think it's beyond that. Because Bernie Sanders is a white guy. Think about the unimaginable standards placed upon Bernard Sanders. Why? Because he's a socialist, right? He's an old socialist guy. So they were like, oh, I can't believe you have 3 houses, Bernie, you fake ass, you phony. It's like his retirement fund is marginal in comparison to like the average accountant. Okay? And people are losing their minds over it. As a matter of fact, even leftists do the same thing. Okay? Even leftists do it to other leftists. Think about it. Immediately, someone was like, he's a Zionist. In terms of like Bernie Sanders' advocacy against Israel, he has literally gone above and beyond for the 800 years that he's been in Congress in terms of like trying to put enforcements on the weapons transfers to Israel before half of these motherfuckers that are, you know, angry at him. And I myself am critical of his position as well, for the record. But like, having said that, I'm also more understanding of you know, where he's at, okay, or where he's coming from. It's kind of crazy to just be like, he fucking sucks, when you're thinking about a guy who was literally saying things that were completely considered unacceptable about Israel before you even developed consciousness. Okay? Like, before you knew what Israel even fucking was. So we do this. We also do this to ourselves. We think it's self-crit. We think it's, it's just a tendency that people have, you know? Yeah, Bernie brought up Gaza in the 2020 primary debates. Unheard of. Bernie literally also straightforwardly said, I want to stop weapons transfers to Israel. I want to do conditional aid to Israel in 2016 and 2020. Think about that. And that's how it is. Some of these white leftists think they're a third world Maoist in the way they speak instead of actually doing proper analysis of the imperial core law. Exactly. So you watching the Ringer podcast makes me so happy. You helping pay my salary. What? Ringer podcast takes? This is what you're talking about. Oh, okay. So my point is, for a lot of people, okay, we don't have the same level of standards for our allies, even as leftists ourselves or as progressives ourselves. We hold people closest to us ideologically to an infinitely higher standard. And the right also uses that all the goddamn time. They create false standards upon people. Wait, hold on. Or abide by the insane standards that the right places upon those who are ostensibly considered progressive, okay?
Who was also in Milwaukee last night and heads to North Carolina today. It's the fourth day in a row that both candidates are in the same state. ABC's Mary Alice Parks is live in Gastonia, North Carolina. Good morning, Mary Alice.
Yeah, Gio, good morning. Former President Trump was in the same arena in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, where Republicans held their national convention. He talked about immigration and the economy. He said that he was the only candidate who could rescue the economy from, quote, total obliteration. And he was introduced by one of his supporters, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. With just 3 days to go, Donald Trump back in the very same arena in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, where he accepted his party's nomination this summer, now trying to finish his campaign strong.
Are you better off now than you were 4 years ago?
Trump pulling the crowd about whether he should say he will win.
It sounds a little braggadocio, right?
The former president repeating claims that migrants are taking jobs from Black Americans.
They have taken so many jobs away from African Americans, less from Hispanic, but that's going to catch up.
And leaning into the disappointing jobs report out Friday that showed unemployment steady at a low 4.1%, but employers only adding 12,000 jobs last month.
The economy stinks. What timing? What timing? 4 days before the election, they have among the worst numbers.
The report came amid hurricanes and a new Boeing strike. It showed wages continuing to climb, and the stock market did end the week higher. But Trump predicted economic doom.
Do you want to lose your job and maybe your house and pension because Kamala has the economic understanding of a child?
Trump joined on stage in Wisconsin and earlier in the day in Michigan by former independent candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who dropped out of the race and endorsed him, but whose name will still be on the Michigan ballot.
If you want to see me go to Washington, you better vote for Donald Trump.
Kennedy, a well-known vaccine
Oh my
skeptic,
God,
says
terrifying.
he's been promised a prominent role in any future Trump administration, running healthcare agencies.
Fucking
Trump seeming to
terrifying.
confirm as much.
And he's going to take care of women's health and men's health and your
Terrifying.
children's health.
And asked if he agrees with Kennedy about vaccines.
You're comfortable with his views on vaccines, Mr. President?
We'll be talking about a lot of things, but he's going to have a big role in healthcare, a very big role.
Vice President Kamala Harris today calling out Trump over possibly putting Kennedy in charge of America's healthcare system.
He has indicated that the person who would be in charge of health care for the American people is someone who has routinely promoted junk science and crazy conspiracy theories, who once expressed support for a national abortion ban.
Now, former President Trump heads here to North Carolina today. It's the one battleground state that he won 4 years ago, but he's taking nothing for granted. He has 3 events scheduled this weekend alone here. Democrats say it could be a sign he's nervous about the state. Janae?
All right. We will see what happens in the next few days. Mary Alice, thank you.
Time to prioritize our nation's best interests and foster lasting peace for all. This current administration has failed miserably in all aspects of humanity. We look to a Trump presidency with hope, envisioning a time where peace flourishes, particularly in Lebanon and Palestine, maintaining the integrity of our borders.
Donald Trump meeting with Arab American voters in Dearborn, Michigan, who are now throwing their support behind him.
This comes as the candidates remain neck and neck in that all-important battleground state.
You just heard from our next guest.
Why don't they say RFK Jr. is anti-Semitic despite the fact that he said that COVID was a conspiracy created by Ashkenazi Jews and the Chinese? Because he's unimaginably pro-Israel. There is your fucking answer. The media, well, not the media, but like a lot of people who are in right-wing circles especially would consider me to be anti-Semitic before RFK Jr. I'm not anti-Semitic. I am, however, anti-Israel. Therefore, I'm the biggest anti-Semite. RFK Jr., anti-Semitic. Pro-Israel, not an anti-Semite. It's that simple.
Yes, Michigan resident Albert Abbas, and he joins us now. Albert, it's so great to have you on. I was just telling my co-host here, I'm obsessed with this story. Donald Trump's going to end with a rally in Michigan. I think that Arab Americans might be the swing demo inside of Michigan that could put it in Trump's corner. Explain to us why Donald Trump is appealing to, why Arab Americans are attracted to Donald Trump at this moment.
Arab Americans are flowing in the direction of the Trump campaign because of his, words of tolerance and love and ending wars. I mean, all our families are suffering overseas in Gaza and in Lebanon, and we have to stop the, indiscriminate bombings that are happening and allow justice for everyone and allow everyone to live with dignity. And, diplomacy is the way for peace. We can't expect that dropping bombs is going to create peace. We have to, open the gates so that we can have conversations, with people that we agree with and people that we don't agree with. And that's the most important thing. And he's extended an olive branch to the Arab community. He's made it a priority to come here. And he's said some very powerful words to gain that support. And now we're going to be looking for some actions and to hold everyone accountable. But we do believe that Donald Trump is our best option and a good option, if that.
Albert, I'm curious what this shift represents. So I'm going to ask you 2 questions. Is this going to be the first time then that you have voted for a Republican? Have you been a supporter of Democrats in the past? And that's one question real quick, Albert. And then the other is, in your estimation, in your community, are there a lot of people who are following your lead and now going over to Donald Trump?
Oh, yeah, there's definitely a seismic shift in favor of Donald Trump here in Dearborn and across Michigan in general. And I do believe Michigan is going to be the deciding factor in this election, and people are starting to wake up. It is not my first time voting for a Republican, and it's not, probably my last time voting for a Democrat. If they continue to, go on this path. As Dearborn voters, we want to be heard. So the person that wants to listen to us and wants to reciprocate, the love and tolerance, then we are going to shift towards that candidate. And today that candidate is Donald Trump. He's made some great gains over here in Michigan. I actually have a picture right here of my.
In terms of this guy and the Muslim or Arab votes swinging in this direction to be consequential enough for Kamala Harris to lose Michigan, they are, like, the Democratic Party has actively written out. One, the Democratic Party has considered the Israel-Palestine issue to be like an Arab one, a sectarian one, an ethnic one, a religious one. This is not the case. Like, broad majorities of every party, including the Republican Party, want a ceasefire in Gaza. They want an end to the weapons transfers. It's not just the Arab thing. Now, in terms of like this being a single issue thing that could swing someone's opinion, I still don't think it's just the Arab thing. But besides that, the Democratic Party has openly fucking pushed aside Arab voters, Muslim voters, Christian Arabs, Lebanese voters, and the like. They have. They've openly communicated that they don't want them to be a part of the active coalition. The issue is, or at least like what this guy is saying, the reason why it doesn't really matter is that Michigan is so fucking blue overall and has a long track record of being blue overall, despite the fact that in 2016, Hillary Clinton lost. Michigan has relapsed in a, dare I say, blue wave. And part of the gains that they've made in Michigan, in terms of like the blue waves, comes from the suburbs. And I think they've picked up a lot of white suburbs people on top of like the white working class in general, big inroads with the UAW, that they are making up in their minds. They are certainly making up for all of the Arab or Muslim or Lebanese votes that they might lose for this single issue. That's it. That's why you're seeing polls reflect a different reality than what this guy is claiming. Yeah. The narrative that Muslim Americans are defecting to Trump is largely a canard, pandering to dumb horseshoe theory stuff, when the risk has always been third party / non-voting, inevitable since the Harris campaign has made clear they don't want them anywhere near their coalition. Yeah. Here's the last CARE national poll among Muslim voters showing 10 points for Trump, 41 for Harris, 42 for Stein. Any idea why this poll is so different from this one? This guy's showing Arab voters with Muslim voters. I know that there's still a large overlap, so it's quite weird that that the support for Trump is so different between the polls. Anyway.
Father with Ronald Reagan. I don't know if you can see it, but this was back in the 80s when he had good relationships with Ronald Reagan and the Speaker of the House of Lebanon, and he helped bring back the American hostages at the time. And now our goal is to make sure that, we end the wars everywhere. And we're asking Donald Trump not only to, demand an end to the war, but to demand it the day that he steps in office. No more killing, no more bombing, just peace around the world and love and tolerance.
Albert, just one quick question. Massad Boulos, who is Tiffany Trump's father-in-law, he is a Lebanese of Lebanese descent. How much, and I've heard that he was, for the last year, working the Dearborn area, working Michigan. How much has that been of an impact on the community and their vote, or their leaning towards Donald Trump?
It definitely doesn't hurt to have such an outstanding gentleman in Mr. Trump's family. It gives us a vote of confidence that, our voices will be heard. It's good that, his family has the diversity that the Democrats always speak of, but they don't really tolerate when we want to speak out. Mr. Boulos has been an outstanding person, has supported us, has, provided us with the lines of communication within the Republican Party, and has allowed us access to develop these relationships and build these bridges with the Republican Party, who has quite frankly been absent from, Dearborn and Michigan in general.
Yeah, no shit. This guy's a shill, brother. What are you talking about? He literally said he's voted for Republicans in the past. Ain't nobody's fucking putting themselves out there to be like, I'm pro-Trump, and go to a fucking Trump rally, dude. Are you kidding me? They could hate Kamala Harris. They could want to make a deal with the fucking devil. It doesn't matter. There's a difference between someone who is like very angry and saying that they don't want to vote for Kamala Harris versus someone who's like, I'm voting for Donald Trump because I think that he's going to deliver peace in the Middle East. Yeah, come on. Like, he's on Fox News, dude. What are you talking about? Like, what? Are we stupid? I mean, yes. The answer is yes. I always ask that question. The answer is always yes. It's like the Republican Party's war on terror has now been completely reframed into the Democratic Party's war on terror, which is crazy because the Democrats let that happen. Like, they did it. They championed it. They're so fucking stupid for this. Wild from Matt Binder. This isn't my final prediction, but this is what I'm leaning towards. That is, I mean, this is like maxed out. This is maxed out. Georgia, North Carolina, Arizona, and Nevada, that is maxed out. I think that, I think that I think she's gonna lose. I think she's gonna lose Arizona. He's only missing blue Texas. Yeah. I don't know about Georgia and I don't know about Arizona, but I do think the blue wall will hold. And that's all that needs to happen anyway for her to win. How are people so confident? They're not. This kind of attitude is not reflected in the mainstream at all. For the record. No, most people are fucking terrified. Are you kidding me? Most Democrats are shitting in their fucking pants right now. And that's partially because the media, due to the overconfidence in 2016, is, in my opinion, radically underestimating Kamala Harris's chances. Like, way more than they ever have underestimated the Democratic Party. People are fucking scared. I think it's also funny because, like, I wonder how much this is going to contribute to the insanity on November, the night of the election.
They're all war hawks when they're sitting in Washington in a nice building saying, oh, gee, Will.
Liz Cheney on foreign policy and accusing you of wanting to execute her.
Well, it's a fake news, and they're trying to make something out of it, and it's so biased to start off with. And all I'm saying is she was a nutty war hawk. You know, she wants to go to war with anybody that moves.
This is what your prediction is, Mike? Michael from Pennsylvania's prediction is Nevada, Arizona, done deal. North Carolina, Georgia, done deal. PA and Michigan? also goes to, I think this is like literally, this is basically the reverse of this. Like, we just looked at the inverse of both of these. Mike from PA has been really spiteful. I think you guys are wrong. I don't think Michael from Pennsylvania is simply operating on doom, okay? I think that we are like right in the center. He's marginally to the right, like in terms of like predicting Donald Trump's chances, and I'm marginally to the left in terms of predicting Kamala Harris's chances. Our arguments are exactly the same. Our opinion is exactly the same, with his vibes, looking at the same numbers that we're looking at. His vibes, because it's not just numbers. We're doing numbers and vibes, okay? He's looking at the numbers and he's looking at the vibes. And his vibes, especially as someone who's on the ground in Pennsylvania, I think it's very important, are that a lot of the base of support has hemorrhaged in the suburbs, and that Kamala Harris cannot make up for it with the, or not suburbs, sorry, with the urban areas. And Kamala Harris cannot make up for it with the suburban white vote, because the suburban white vote will still overwhelmingly favor the Republican Party. That's his assessment on the matter. And I think that that is a fair assessment. My assessment is that not enough of the suburban, or not enough of the urban constituency is going to, refuse to go and vote for Kamala Harris. But more importantly than that, I think that there is a tremendous amount of, like, a lot of support that directly robs Republicans from their base of support. I think the turnout is too low among the cities, and rules are up. The suburbs aren't enough. It's my analysis. If I'm wrong, you'll see big turnout in Atlanta, Philly, Las Vegas on election day. Yeah. No, I don't disagree with you. This is coming from the same place. You lose the urban turnout. And if you lose enough of your urban turnout from your base, black people, brown people, young people in general, like when you hemorrhage that because you're shitty on Gaza, you haven't really adequately presented solutions to the problems that they're foreseeing, and you just kind of write them off because you're desperately trying to shake the tree for as many fucking white suburban wine moms as you possibly can gain in Arizona, where it's not going to fucking happen. This is this will directly contribute to Kamala Harris's loss. I, however, do still believe that the gains that she has made up in the suburbs, specifically with white women, is especially paired up with the base not hemorrhaging hard enough, will cause her to win in these states. And I think most of that, you're set up for disappointment come election day. No, because if Donald Trump won, I wouldn't be shocked. Why would I, in terms of disappointment, I'm set up for disappointment either way. Kamala Harris wins, I'm still disappointed about the future of this country. Donald Trump wins, I'm devastated and terrified for the future of this country. It's not, but if you think like I am, I'm personally like in the tank for Kamala Harris, or think that Kamala Harris is definitely a lock, like I've never communicated that at all. My guy was Biden, and he's out of the race already. You know what I'm saying? I'm riding with him still, but this time it may actually come down to turnout. Democrats have gained high turnout voters, while Donald Trump has made gains among groups that tend to show up only for presidential races or not at all. It depends on where turnout is coming from, okay? It depends on where turnout is coming from. But yes, I foresee high turnout being a troublesome prospect for prospect for Kamala Harris. The reason, I mean, it depends on which state we're looking at and which area we're looking at. But like, historically, high turnout favors Dems. I know, but Donald Trump is crushing on low and mid propensity voters. If you want an interesting fact about cannibalizing vote early for Republicans in Vegas, 65% of all E-Day Republican voters in 2022 already cast their vote early this year. Only 45% of Democrat E-Day 2022 voters have voted early. A lot of analysis is that E-Day will be much more blue than people think in cities because these are power voters. They don't miss an election. I don't know. I mean, we shall see. What if the Dems are tapped out? Can you explain what propensity voters means? Yes. There is a ranking standard. In the past 4 elections, if you voted in all 4, you are a high propensity voter. In the past 4 elections, if you have voted for 2 to 4 times, you are a mid propensity voter. In the last 4 elections, if you have voted 0 to 2 times, you are a low propensity voter. Yes, they count not primaries, they count midterms. I think. Or do they count primaries as well? They count primaries and midterms. I think they count midterms. Early voting shows New Jersey is red. I think it's not that unbelievable that E-Day voters will be more blue. Huh. One thing that I think is like would be wild is if New Jersey did go red. Like something crazy like that. God damn. Is midterms and presidential years only on the big days in November count for those 4 out of 4 to 0 out of 4 calculations? Also, it's why new young voters who voted in the primary, not the president yet, are considered 0 out of 4. Yeah, it's midterms and general elections, not. If New Hampshire is close, hold on to your butt. Red DC? No. New Jersey has the makeup of a state that could be like sneakily red. It's not, but it's too diverse, I think, to be red. But New Jersey is like a weird ass fucking state. I think the only thing that saves New Jersey from being red is that it's like one of the highest density suburb places in the country, I think. Like it has far too, like the population centers are way too slammed up on top of one another, even if they're fucking suburbs. So when you are living on top of one another, even if you're literally living in a suburb, if you're living on top of one another, then you still have a likelihood of becoming more liberal. Its population density is far too high for it to be a red state. Unions are still strong debt machine in huge cities everywhere, not enough rural. Yeah. That's why I've read over and over again that Wisconsin is the one to actually look at, despite what the polls are showing, because Wisconsin is like mostly rural. And the rural vote is incredibly strong in Wisconsin. So that one might be the one that shocks people, but it doesn't really matter because Pennsylvania is the only thing that matters.
Hiện giờ thay phòng nhà phòng thông thông này chỉ做开暗什么不都会，看看到我们的这些版内。